Welcome back. In the studio, we have Daniel Ukwu, who is Executive Director, Daniel Ukwu Leadership Foundation, to talk about the issues of political leadership in Nigeria. Good evening, Daniel.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Just give us an overview of, the issues of political leadership in Nigeria currently.
Well, when you talk about political leadership in Nigeria, and then I think you are looking at is it the real political ongoing political
The
situation
ongoing, yes,
currently in Nigeria. Well, you find out that Nigeria is a blessed country, very rich in resources and the human potential.
Okay.
But I think from 1966 to date, we're still struggling with one thing, and that one thing is still that leadership. We're still really struggling from that with leadership. And then if you look at it, it's affecting every other thing because my mentor will always say that everything rises and falls on the leadership. And then you find out that when the leadership is not there, in short, it's better you have leadership and lack every other thing. Then you find out that it's easier done because leadership attracts resources and every other thing. But it becomes a big challenge when you have everything in abundance. You have human resources, you have natural resources, and then because it's the leadership that will drive all those factors for them to become very useful. But you find out that we have in abundance all those things, but we still lack leadership, making those resources
hard to manage.
Not reaching the downtrodden, because until whatever you do gets to the downtrodden, there are people, vulnerable people.
Exactly.
Until whatever, is it water supply, is it electricity, gets to them, you can't say that you have effective leadership.
So how effective is the current political leadership in Nigeria addressing the issues of corruption?
Well, if you ask my opinion, and then I'm not looking at, I don't know whether they're interested in addressing the issue, but what has been going on, after the 2023 election, that was, you see, I think we are still recycling the same type of leaders in and out. Because when you talk about leadership, we are looking at it from, their level. It's just like when somebody, from when you are dependent and then you go to independent, and then you are looking at moving to the next level, which is effectiveness.
Okay.
And then you are looking at the greatness. Then you now ask, in between effectiveness and then greatness, where is our leaders? You find out that they are nowhere to be found. You see, because it's one thing to occupy a position, and then it's another thing to make impact. Because when you talk about effectiveness, you are looking at those who are doing the right thing to get the right results. And then when you are looking about the greatness, you are looking at leaders who want to leave a legacy. Because when you come on board, you said that this is the problem on the ground, and then you are trying to make impact. You are not living for yourself. You are looking for what will affect the next generation. Is it insecurity? They will address it. Is it? But you discover in this present, instead of solving problem, I think for me they are creating more of problem than solving problem. Okay. Because when you look at the fuel increase, from where the price of fuel and what it is now, you look at the increase from electricity, from what it is to where it's now. And then you look at even telecom industry. you find out that they are talking about increase, without even looking at the service that those people are providing.
Rendering.
Because what they are, nobody is against increasing the price increase, but what of the service that they are providing? Because assuming in a country like Nigeria, at least they can say that, okay, maybe for the next 3 months, let's see whether we can, there will be no power outrage, there will nothing like taking light. At least it's a proposal, and it will make those people working there to be up and doing. Okay, in oil industry, they've increased the price, and then it's affecting a lot of people, both their take-home pay, in short, everything is being affected. Okay, they will now say that instead of how many refineries do we have, like previously since 1960 we have 4, or 1960 we have 4. By now we'll be talking of having 10. By now we'll be looking at what is the production level. Nobody can even say whether we are making progress, because this thing is supposed to be like a chart, monitoring it every day on a chart. Somebody was talking about, yes, they've appointed a new MD for NNPC, but is it business as usual? Can they say that subsequently we are going to see production charts on daily basis, all those activity? Or can they say that they are taking NNPC to the stock exchange? These are indices to measure performance. These are indices to measure output. These are indices to make quality of service. And then when we talk about greatness, you find out that I don't think most of our leaders are even looking at effective, not to talk of greatness. Because greatness is a high mark. You said that, okay, when you came on board, there was this, so you solve it, But at the state level, I think some governors are making really impact. But I think at the national level, I don't know, maybe because of Nigeria's system,
Okay, let's look at the issues that is going on in Labour Party currently about Abure, saying that the Supreme Court judgment is null and void, and talking about Obi and Oti. Can you give us an overview of what you think about this whole thing?
When they say that judiciary is the last hope of common man, I really don't know whether under this dispensation, whether he's still playing that role of a common man. Because you look at it, you don't know whether they want to, destabilize Labour Party, or they want to, everything in Nigeria is about self-interest, and then nobody is looking at national interest. We don't have national interest. It's all about party interest. My party, you cross over to my party, you cross over to my party. Everybody is talking about my party. Everybody is talking about, but nobody is looking at the long term. They are interested in what's maybe accruing to them on the seat they are sitting. So nobody is looking at the national level. What happened? What legacy are we to leave? What is the long-term effect? No, they always short-term, medium-term,
and long-term.
And long-term. So most of them are just in between short-term and medium-term, and looking at, because, yes, it's a party that can make you come on board. But when you come on board, you are now looking beyond that party, because at the end of the day, your name will be at stake. And they say that everything, right, because people will judge you when you are there as the Senate president, when you are there as the president, when you are there as the governor, when you are there, what did you do? Because, they say soldier come and go, barrack will remain. Election will come, some of them will go, and then people will now compare. When this man was Senate president, this is what he did. When this one was a governor, this is what he did. When this one was a senator, what he did. People was always compare. And then if they are allowed to chat, maybe first, second, and third, they find out that some people can take position, some people can take second position, and some people can take last position because of what they have done. Because leadership is visible, it's result oriented. Do you understand?
So the whole thing about Abure declaring that the Supreme Court's verdict is a triumph for inter-party sovereignty. What do you think about that? I mean, since the Supreme Court has already given a judgment about him stepping down for Peter Obi to, take charge, and he's still saying that this does not align with the party, whatever.
I think my understanding that they're overstressing the court because there are some issues the party is supposed to deal. Their internal party politics they are supposed to deal. But due to we like prolonging issues, taking issues to court, and the court also interpret them. But if Supreme Court has given a judgment, their judgment is final. You don't have a choice whether you like it or not, and that one makes it a Supreme Court judgment.
But the way it's looking at, it's not like they're taking the judgment from the Supreme Court.
Well, they don't have choice. They don't have choice. At the end, they can drag it, but they don't have choice because that is Supreme Court, and it's the last bus stop. So they don't have choice. They can drag it to anywhere they want, but they don't have choice.
So NEC has actually taken out the removes Victor Ogene as House Caucus leader. What do you think about this particular development?
Well, I'm not too conversant with that, with this what they are talking about because it's a personal. I don't know much about this very person you are talking about. So I can't really say.
Is it Victor Ogene?
Victor Ogene, who is he? I don't know him. He's not a popular star on my list.
Okay, but this whole thing that has been going on, what do you think the fate of the 2027 elections would look like when we still have this whole inter-party crisis going on?
Well, like I always say and believe that the crop of leaders we have now, they are looking at their personal interests. How would they maneuver 2027? But and then the issue that, to tell you the truth, that people morale is being demoralized because the judiciary is not living up to expectation. It's just like the last election. They say go to court. And you know that when you go to court, it will be a waste of time, a waste of resources. It will be a waste of this. But along the line, there are somewhere they've gotten it right, but in some issues, they've gotten it wrong. So it's making people to be demoralized. Even me as a person, I don't think we are just watching them. Whether we'll be alive till that 2027, if they say we should leave, fine. If they say we should not, because there's nothing like when you kiss people's morale, and then the trust is not there, and then the judicial system is not even helping issues, because at the end of the day, nobody likes wasting time, because you waste time, go and queue up, do vote, and at the end of the day, you are sure that even while you are voting, they have written results, and then they will go at the back and then call those results, and then maybe the court will also uphold that result, saying there's the technicalities, and then it's like rubbishing every other person. But here we are in Nigeria, we don't have another country. We'll continue to see how it will go.
So, concerning this whole issues of political leadership in Nigeria, how best do you think we can enhance our electoral process and the credibility of the political leaders?
Yes, we can enhance it by having, first of all, I understand that the present INEC chairman will be retiring by December, because he has to leave that seat for people to still have confidence that something positive will still happen. And then reforming our electoral process, make sure that that people's votes count. Setting up institutions. We have a lot of institutions fighting corruption, but now I don't know whether those corruption is fighting those institutions or not. But it's supposed to be like we have EFCC, they are doing good job. You have anti, what's it called? This apart from EFCC, there this
which agency?
What is it called? But it's one of the agencies that is also anti-corruption. Fighting anti-corruption.
The ICPC.
Yes, exactly, ICPC. Because you find out that if those institutions are actually doing their work, all this constitutional embezzlement, all this here and there, it will restore confidence. It makes sure that when people are giving money, their accountability system will be up and doing. But you find out that we have a very weak institution, and then also this judiciary, well, I don't know, but they need to step up because people are losing confidence in some of the judgment, and also strengthening the police, because police has to be your friend, because at the end of the day, it's the police that they use in all this election. At times they might use them positively, at times they might use them negatively, but they have to be strengthened. They have to be taken care of. And then also even having institutions that can fight corruption. Not, you see, in Nigeria, I think we have powerful individuals, but in ideal environment, it's supposed to be powerful institutions controlling those powerful individuals. But you find out that we have powerful individuals controlling the institutions, which is not proper. If we have strong institutions that can now say that is also independent, because one thing about why some of them cannot do much, because they are not independent. Because before you can get your money, you go to the president, and the president will now dictate what you do and what you don't do. So it's also a factor. And they find out that the students, because that's where my area of interest, the young people are not given opportunity to participate, because you find out that the young people constitute a larger population, because they said the youth are the future leaders. So where is their youth? Where is their role? Because for that to build a strong institution, the youth has to be empowered. The youth has to be taken care of. The youth has to be mentored. The youth have to be equipped. Encouraging them that the future lies in their hands. So, and that's why we have taken a program, going to school, see how we can now talk to students on this, for them to believe that even democracy or voting, that they can vote and their vote will count. Because if at the end of the day, the youth did not believe their vote will count, don't you see that?
Looking at the previous election that happened, the youths came out in mass to vote, and they were really disappointed. Do you really think that situations like this would encourage them to come out in the next elections to vote?
Well, I always tell people that life is about hope. No matter what happens, you don't just, because you are traveling and there's an accident on the way, it doesn't mean you should stop traveling. Life must go on. So yes, they are discouraged, but we believe that in as much as you are alive, there must be hope, because without hope, you are finished. So you play your own part. Like, there are things within your control, like going to vote. At times I made up my mind that I'm not going to vote again, but the second thought, I say, whom am I cheating? Am I? Because things might turn out to be the other way around.
But has a vote ever counted before?
Well, I believe it has counted. It has counted. Yes. We'll rule that it doesn't count. Yes. At certain level it counts, except when they get to where the collection, where they do the mago. But exactly. At certain level, because when the last election, I'm sure my vote was counted, and then it was recorded. Okay. So, but when you get to certain level, I don't know what matching that happens.
Let's look at some of the political issues from the ethnic aspect of it. Do you think this has an influence on political leadership in Nigeria?
That has been the major problem. This religion, ethnicity. Like now, somebody is saying that After all, the former president have done 8 years. This person must do his own 8 years. And then, you see, we don't have, that's why patriotism is very low at this part of the world. And every person believes it's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn. Now the politics move from north to west. So the west believe now is their turn. Whether their man is doing well or is not doing well, is their turn. Things are not done that way. Things are not done that way. If what somebody is doing is affecting you negatively, you cannot say no. It's just like you having a driver, and then you know that driver is not doing well. You will say because it's your brother, it's your sister, then you continue to retain him. Or you go to a doctor, attention is not giving you, is not well, it's just because it's your brother. Then you have to, no, you have to make a change. Because you are looking at how can you get well, assuming if you are not well. Or if you are a driver, so that the person will not plunge you into the river. But here we are so sentimental. I don't know. It's a bit unfortunate.
It is. I agree. But this thing is something that has been going on for as long as I can't even imagine. Do you think at any point that we are going to overcome this ethnicity problem?
Well, like if you're a student of history, you should know that no condition is permanent. No condition is permanent. It's like I was looking at the political, those who have been the managing director of NMPC from 1977 to date. If I discovered that no Southeast have been opportune to be managing director of NMPC from that 1977 to date, it has been North Central, Northeast, North South, all this one. So I now ask myself, it's just today. Does it mean that nobody in the Southeast here is qualified to be MD of? But if I know that it's also politics, because one thing about gift, you see, and except they recognize that some people are gifted. Some people are naturally gifted. You see, God distributes this word. He gives you these people agriculture. He gives these people this one. He gives some people ability to transform certain things. Do you understand? Yes. Until we come to a point where we look for the right person who can deliver, and not just being sentimental about this. And it's just like looking at since 1966 to date, they say Nibu man cannot become. Just look at it and laugh. You see, because you can't take away God's gift from somebody. You can only suppress it, you can only intimidate it, but you can't take away from. So until when we realize that we are looking at who will take us to the promised land, because there must always somebody that will take people to the promised land. And you can fake your character, you can do every other thing, but you cannot. You see, gift is gift, and capacity comes from God. So, in as much as they are trying to play game and shift this, okay, you know before, now it's Muslim, but is he putting food on the table? Is he adding food on the table? You know, they will just play all those politics just to occupy position. But when it's time to do the job, are they actually delivering? Or which your head of state that you said that you have achieved greatness in this part of the world? No.
Okay, so in your own opinion, how would you view the relationship between political leadership and civil society organizations in Nigeria?
You know, yes, civil society organization, where I also belong, can also kind of checkmate, because actually in Nigeria, you know, this being structured, then judiciary should checkmate the executive, and then the House of should checkmate. But where they failed to do that, the civil society I think the civil society is even playing that effective role, because we have the National Assembly that believe yes sir, and then we have the legislature that also believe in yes sir. So it is civil society. Like if you look at this Natacha issue now, so you find out that is the civil society that is also in forefront of agitating for that the way she was treated, the way she was treated, that is not fair and all this. But ordinarily, it's not supposed to be so. Do you understand?
Okay.
Because we have a situation where people, personal interests have overtaken everything. Most of the they are looking at 2027. What would they do? So they are not interested in addressing any problem. They are not. But that's not what that's why they're, because that 2027, most of them may not come back. You see, because one thing about leadership is an opportunity. The moment you have that opportunity, see how you can make best of use of that opportunity. Because you might be thinking of 2027. What if you don't come back? Or if you don't, even if you come back, you don't retain the same position that you have now. Because when you have, you see, I think most of our people have shallow mentality. Because it's not how long that you sit on a position that matters, is how well. Like now we are talking about greatness. How can you say that you have delivered, that this impact that you did when you are governor or when you are senate president or when you are a senator? It's not like we are talking about Natasha. You see the impact she has done. And then who wouldn't say, except people who are tough to victimize her? Because life is about impact. Mm-hmm. How do you solve people? How do you, maybe people that were not able to go to school? And that's why you find out that before, this free education had most of our leaders, our present leaders, benefited from free education. But now, none of them is seeing it as an issue. Rather, those people that benefited from free education, they are the people that are building schools that they are even charging 2 million, 10 million as school fees. You see, because most of them don't have conscience, and most of them are not sensitive to people's plight. They believe that every person can afford it. You know.
So how would you perceive international organizations and foreign governments in influencing political leadership in Nigeria?
You know, I was reading something when I was coming, and they said that the problem of Nigeria, that is the foreign influence that is making us not have good leaders. Well, that they are influencing our country to have weak leaders and weak, but I don't think so. Because, you see, when you don't know why you are there, and when you are given opportunity, you might say that somebody is inflaming you. You know, it's always easy to blame somebody. It's always easy to say, I'm pointing my finger. Because if you know why you are there, number one, your name is at stake. Mm-hmm. Number two, you are, at the end of the day, you will not say that, yes, somebody can advise you, but you take responsibility. So you won't say that foreign influence has, yes, they are there because of their personal interest. But then, at the end of the day, like now, if I'm given opportunity, I know at the end of the day, your name is at stake. And like the Bible said, that good name is better than silver and gold. Do you understand? But how many of them are even interested in living that good name? All they want is to get money but you can't turn the Bible upside down. Because good name is a legacy that when you leave your office, oh, are you related? Okay, let me give you an example. Just like recently, for some years now, we've been doing a program on Akanobiam. Okay. The late Akanobiam, the former governor of Eastern, because we find out that he left a good legacy. Somebody like Opara, all these people, if they are leaving a good legacy, why can't you celebrate them and appreciate them, so that those oncoming people will now know that doing good is also good business. So we took time to celebrate the man. I think we did this some years, but because of finance, we're having some challenges.
In your own view, what would you say is the fate of Nigerian politics?
Well, the fate of Nigeria politics is that number one, the brighter day are still ahead. So we will not lose hope. In as much as we will not lose hope, there's still hope. There's still hope that one day this leadership issue will get it right. Because if from 1966 to date we are still struggling with leadership, I hope we will get it right one day. And getting it right is by by electing somebody who has the capacity, who has the capability to deliver, to solve people's problem, and not to create
more problems.
Because you find out that what we have now is creating problem, fuel increase, electricity tariff, this one. You begin to wonder. You see, because all these things are reducing the common man to the barest, hitting the common man to the lowest minimum, which is not right. Leadership is about welfare, people's welfare. Can people say at the end of this is what you have? But I don't think they are, because it's like what you don't know. It's just like, in making deposits, they say understanding. But you find out that understanding is not an easy thing. It looks like a non-issue. Until when you understand that you are there to solve a problem, not to see, because from my own point of view, they're interested in generating money so that they have more money to maybe to suppress who they want to suppress or to do whatever they want to do. But that's not what leadership is all about. Because you remember there are some people who the lowest, it's just like yesterday we went somewhere called in Geneva. I don't know whether you've been to that part of Enugu.
No.
We've been there because there are this open free open defecation that the governor is trying to, so that Enugu will be free. So we went there, and then that's a sub area, and they found out that life is not. But we won't lose hope. There are some people that need help. Do you understand?
Looking at the 2023 elections, Labour Party was a party that the youths were out there for. The youths were in full support of Labour Party. And looking at the current crisis going on in this same party, defection and the whole back and forth, do you think that this would actually affect the fate of the youths in this particular party? I mean, being that Peter Obi was a candidate that so many people were, vying for, so many people voted for him and really wanted him in power. Do you think that this whole power tussle is going to affect the fate of the people of Nigeria?
Well, that politics is like a river that is flowing. And then, a river is unstoppable. It will continue to flow. If you block it this way, it will find its way. If you block this way, it will find its way until it must exist. So what happened that, yes, people are still watching him, because if you watch among the leaders so far, I think he's the best. He's the one outstanding. So people are still watching him, knowing where he will go, whether he's in Labour Party or he will decamp or whatever. But I believe anywhere he goes, if he can be able to get the ticket, and people will still follow him. So, and they are doing everything. Nigeria, they know how to suppress. When they know that you are a good candidate, or instead they will do everything to. It's just like what they are doing to this our lady we mentioned. They do everything to make sure that they suppress you, they rubbish you, they make sure. But you see, at the end of the day, I believe that God. So the students or the youth are waiting. Who will come on board? So immediately because people are crying for new Nigeria, whether they like it or not. So if any person or even Peter Obi comes on board again, I think people will still follow him.
Okay.
People will still, because you find out that during this last year, there are some people who don't even know anything because they say it's a Labour Party, and all of them move. Because people are tired of all this, the suffering is so much.
Exactly.
I think it's...
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. It was amazing having you on this show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.